Hi, third graders. Welcome back to our class Read Aloud. I'm so glad that you're able to join us. We are still reading from Tomorrow Girls, Behind the Gates. And last time we met, we finished chapter 5. And it's where the girls, they all, like 300 plus, they went to that cafeteria. And then after they ate, they had to go to another meeting area where Mrs. Brewster was to give them kind of even more rules and direction. And she was explaining to them that this isn't some fancy school and that they are now a part of something referred to as the new society, that these girls are going to be a part of this. And after this meeting, they had a chance to then go and explore the grounds. And Maddie, she chose to go and just read in the room. And Louisa wanted to go and walk around and take a look at everything. So that brings us to chapter 6. On the first day of school, we scrambled to find the classes on the schedule that we were given. My first class was English. The teacher was Sasha. The teacher didn't even greet us. "Copy this into your notebooks, ladies." That's all she said. Then she turned to this old-style blackboard and picked up a piece of white stick, something that I never really recognized. Do you guys know what that is? Chalk, right? With rapid movements, she covered this blackboard in notes, all written in this artful, kind of curved type writing. And what's that? Something that we've been working on. Cursive. My grandmother used to write like this, I recalled. Otherwise, almost everyone just used print these days. Glancing around the room, I noticed that everyone was having a hard time taking notes without having a laptop or a device. I actually was getting a hand cramp from writing with the pencil that was provided on my desk. And forget about using an eraser. That didn't even work. My notebook winds up full of these scratch out and scribbles. It was a complete mess, and I hope no one will check it. The rest of our morning was spent on other familiar subjects, social studies, algebra, and science. Don't you think it's weird that all the English and social studies books are back from the 1980s? Evelyn pointed out as we walked to our next class. The school's old. It's probably hard to get supplies, Maddie suggested. You know how hard it is to get anything since the war started. She's right, I say. Mom and Dad told me that back in the day, there were these huge stores that sold tons and tons of cheap stuff. Everything was like affordable because it was all made in countries where people didn't have any rights and no one even made enough money. Okay, so they're talking like our Walmart, our Targets, the dollar store. Those don't exist in this world now. But honestly, I might have not have even noticed the old textbooks if Evelyn didn't actually point them out to me. I like my classes a lot. The teachers, they seem pretty nice so far too. They're all really young women with various accents and nationalities, well, except for Mrs. Brewster, who doesn't really have any kind of accent, and she doesn't teach us any of our courses. She's just in charge. We're supposed to call all the teachers by their first names, like Devi and Emmanuel and Sasha. It's hard to get used to it, especially since things are pretty formal here otherwise. But the only last name that we're used to using is Mrs. Brewster's, and no one knows her first name. Evelyn calls her Bunny as a joke sometimes. In the afternoon, we have speech and debate class, and after that, we have MUL for outdoor survival skills. I know afternoons will be my favorite. I'm not sure which of these two classes that I love the most. In every class, we're told that we are part of the new society. It doesn't take me long to figure out that in this new society, we will be the privileged elite people who will be expected to lead the masses of people when this war is over. Our teachers keep referring to us as the future of the country. That's kind of obnoxious, don't you think? Maddie says to me at dinner. Why should we be the future of the country just because we can afford to go to this school? If you think about it, it's kind of offensive. I shrug. I kind of like the idea. It gives me a feeling of having a serious purpose. I'd never felt like that in school before. Mostly of all, it had just seemed unimportant. And all I could think was, why do we have to know all this stuff? But at CMS, I don't feel that way. I love it. Of course, it's offensive, Maddie insists, replying to my shrug. If your parents hadn't paid for me to be here, my parents wouldn't be able to afford this. My eyes darted around quickly, making sure that no one was listening. Shh, I warned her. Maddie then lowered her voice. Now I'm a future leader because I'm here. But if I couldn't afford to be here, who would I be? A big nobody? But you are here, I reminded her. That's not my point. I know it's not the point, but this is a really touchy subject right now, and I want to get off of this. Well, I'm just happy that we're here, I say, and you should be happy too. Evelyn then sat down at our table. I have to ask you guys something about science, she says. Don't you think it's odd that we're all learning an awful lot about starting fires, building explosives, and making poisonous gases? I had fun building the fire today, I said. Sure, it was fun, Evelyn admits, but don't you think it's a little weird that tomorrow we're going to learn how to blow stuff up? I shrugged again, because I think that it's going to be quite interesting, actually. For the first time in my life, I was enjoying science class. Now, maybe it was a little strange, but then what's even normal these days anymore? So on the second day of outdoor survival skills, Rosie and I, we were paired up. I wasn't exactly thrilled about this. The first thing that we had to do was review fire building from the day before. While I was off in the woods collecting branches for kindling, Rosie stayed behind arranging the stones in a circle. She leaves me to do all the work while she sits and plays with rocks. I was complaining about that silently to myself. Does she think I'm like her servant or something? But when I returned, with a bundle of branches in both my arms, Rosie had already begun a fire. How did you get that done so fast? I asked. Oh, I just grabbed a few small twigs for tinder and got it started, Rosie said, sitting back on her heels. Nice timing. We need the larger kind of kindling branches to keep this thing burning, though. Did she just give me a compliment? So I set the bundle down and we both got to work building up a teepee-shaped structure that quickly would light on fire. Wow, you got us some nice dry branches. Good job, Rosie said as we were backing away from the rising flames. Was that 2 compliments? After teaching us to douse the fire and scatter the ashes, Emuel hands us a .22 caliber light-weighted rifle for target shooting. Once more, Rosie and I were paired up. We lied side by side on a dirt mound facing 2 stands with paper targets that were stapled to them. Emmanuel shows the correct position for holding the rifle and how to sight with the middle of the target. Now remember, girls, even though these are relatively small rifles, we're still going to have some kickback when you fire off the gun. You must be able to find just the right spot below the target to compensate that kickback that you get. It will take some practice to get it right, and if you don't figure it out at all after your shots will go high, you'll end up figuring out how to get it to the center. Emuel shouts the command and we shoot. Then she takes down the target. Just as she predicted, my shots from the first round were completely outside of the bullseye area. Rosie's bullet holes, though, were clustered just above it. She checks her paper target and then reaches for mine. For some reason, I let her take it. Aim just a little below the target, she advised me. Well, then I'm going to miss, I argued. I wondered if she was just trying to mess with me and be mean. No, you won't, she said, confidently, returning the paper. Just try what I said. Emmanuel calls out another round for firing. Despite my misgivings, I aimed lower, like Rosie had suggested. When Emmanuel showed us our results after that round, mine were much better. I haven't hit the center, but all my shots were now much closer than before. I noticed Rosie smiling down at her paper and leaned over to see her results. Bullseye! One of her shots made it dead center in the middle. Wow! Nice work, I say. Thanks, Rosie replies. You need to hang that on our front door, I suggest. Not even Mrs. Brewster would want to mess with us then. Rosie laughs. No, I guess not. How did you learn to shoot like this? I asked. Rosie got up to her feet. Just beginner's luck, I guess, she said. Really? I said doubtfully. Yeah. At dinner that night, Maddie asked me what was going on with Rosie at the rifle range. I saw you guys laughing. What was all that about? Yeah, we were kind of having fun. You know, Rosie, she really isn't that bad, at least when you're in her element, I said. And her element seems to be the outdoors. You should see, she can really build a fire fast. No sooner had my words left my mouth when Rosie walked by. Rosie, I called, giving her a wave. Come here, come on, sit. But Rosie didn't even look at us as she carried her tray to the elite sporty girl table. I guess you're not in her element anymore now, are ya? Maddie said. I'm baffled and now I'm confused. I thought Rosie and I were friends now. I can't believe she just blew me off like that. If nothing else, we are sweetmates. She could have at least just waved back or said hello to me. Evelyn then slid in the seat across from Maddie and me. I decided that I'm applying for the student league, she tells us. What? Maddie asks. You know, the group that does the grounds patrol, including patrolling late after night when all the lights are out? Wait a minute. Wasn't it you who made a face and said that it sounded dumb when Mrs. Brewster mentioned that? I recalled. Evelyn smiled a little bit. I know, but... So what changed your mind? Maddie asked. Evelyn eagerly leans in closer to us, clearly excited about what she's going to say. Well, the league members, they get special night vision goggles and masks, and they get the keys to all the hallways. Whoa, cool, Maddie says, nodding. Totally cool. Seriously? I agree. Don't you think this could be the best way to dig up dirt on CMS? Evelyn added. I have to laugh a little as I shake my head. I should have known what her real reason was. All these conspiracy theories and starting to seem even more ridiculous, but Evelyn just won't give up. Isn't it a good idea? Evelyn presses. It sounds like the best way to get in deep trouble, I commented. No, it's not, Evelyn disagrees, brushing away the idea with her wave of her hand. Why don't you guys just apply with me? Huh, not me, I state. I'm fine with having kitchen duty. Cleanup crew doesn't sound like much fun, but maybe in the kitchen, I can grab us some extra food. Getting fat off of stolen food also sounds like a good way to get in trouble, Evelyn argues. I laugh. The way they work us in this place, I could eat twice the food and still not get fat. How about you, Maddie? Evelyn asks. Why don't you apply? I don't know, Maddie answers. I'm not sure I'd really like it. Don't do it, I said a little too forcefully. I look at her pointedly. The last thing we need is for Maddie to call attention to herself. We want her to stay as below the radar as possible. Well, let me help you make up your mind, Evelyn said. What are you? Are you the bossy twin? She can make up her own mind. Yeah, Maddie agrees. I'll make up my own mind, Miss Bossy Twin. Oh, wow. And that brings us to chapter 7. Pretty interesting. I wonder, do you think Evelyn will get that position as being, part of that night ground? And I wonder if she'll start getting into any mischief now that, she believes in all the conspiracy things. Pretty interesting. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. Miss you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow to read chapter 7. And I just want to give a little shout out to my Aunt Debbie. Today's her birthday. So I just want to say happy birthday, Aunt Deb. I know that she watches all of these videos before she goes to bed, like a lot of you third graders. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out and let my Aunt Debbie know that I love her and have a happy birthday. All right, third graders, I will talk to you soon. Have a great night.